Hello guys, this is channel to introduce you to NJ Korean movies. We've summarized it within 15 minutes. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe our channel and hit the like buttons. Then, let us watch the movie together. Jacob and his family are immigrants from South Korea to America. And the movie deals with the story of family at 1980s time looking for a chance to survive. Jacob and his wife are chicks identifiers, and Jacob, who wanted to be successful, led his family and moved to Arkansas, known as one of the most fertile land, and started to grow Korean vegetables. Unlike the kids who are very curious about the house car, Monica seems disagreed with Jacob's action of moving the living place and farming. With her arms folded, she looked around the house.
한국에서 가장 기름진 땅이야.
Oh, I would dare say in front of her furious face.
아빠는 빅 가든 하나 만들 거야. 오늘 첫날이니까.
Saying because it is the first day, Jacob wanted to be together and sleep on the floor together. While Monica checked the condition of his son David with a stethoscope.
안녕하세요. 어머, 안녕하세요.
In the factory, Jacob and Monica are working identifying chicks. Jacob told David not to run here and there. Why?
저게 뭐예요?
When David is curious about the smoke from the chimney, his dad says that male chicks are not tasty and therefore to be burned. Maybe it means something.
우리 farm 어때?
It's good.
그럼 엄마한테도 너무 좋다고 얘기해.
거긴 큰 동네가 4개나
Monica trying to persuade David to move near city, but it seems Jacob just didn't care about her opinion at all.
내 꿈은 50에이커야.
저 땅이 당신 꿈이라고? 병원까지는 1시간이나 걸리잖아.
Set it down anywhere.
To grow crops, water is necessary. An American guy came and used a stick showing how they can find the source of water. But seeing the price, Jacob denied their offer.
300? We use our minds.
Instead, he used his own way to find source of water. Maybe it is the Koreans' way of finding the source, using mind rather than wisdom of natives.
앤 여기 있어.
Because they live in a place where no one lives, they just burn trashes in the bin.
우리가 그 stupid stick 썼어? 어떻게 찾았어?
Oh, looks like he really found the vein of water.
Now let me tell you, farming these days, you got to go big or go home. That's just how it
Would the
is.
Korean way work in Korea too? Having half of farming, expecting a good result, he smiled.
할머니가 우리랑 같이.
Monica worried if her mother will not be together with Jacob, but the grandmother Sunja started to live with them. The back of the wall Bible verse written in Korea is noticed. It is written, "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer." Being her mother is with her, Monica seems first time to be happy.
밤이다. 맛있겠다.
Monica was worried about having a trouble with her husband Jacob, but it looks like the trouble started with the boy David. Jacob stick to the Korean way of farming rather than American's way.
와우. 오케이.
좋은 거 다 들어갔어.
아, 데뷔신 좋겠다.
데뷔 먹어봐.
싫어요.
마셔. 할머니가 한국에서 갖고.
David was used to American style. He refused to drink a soup that his grandma made for him.
Go back to your room. Stop.
David, go to your room.
Grandma's
Monica met David to sleep in the same room with Sunja, but David
뭐라고?
tried not to be with her.
가서 해초리 갖고 와.
David and Anne, grumpy looking, they followed Sunja.
아, 여기가 좋겠다.
She started to explain about Minari, the Korean vegetable. Minari, the vegetable, only grows in a special condition, that swallow water should be located nearby.
내가 화장실에서
Is this a dream? Is this a dream? 이렇게 봐.
Little David was offended by Sunja's joke. 100% Korean Sunja and American David seemed not to understand each other. On Sunday, Jacob's family attended local church and worship. I assure you, Koreans don't take money from the offertory box. It is definitely
What a
not
wonderful
Korean
day to be
way.
in the house of the Lord. If you're here with us for the first time, please stand. Now, don't be ashamed. Y'all stand up. What a beautiful family. We're glad you're here.
Since Monica is not used to speak English, she is somehow hesitate to be close with local people.
Why is your face so flat? It isn't. David? Nice to meet you, David. Como? That means aunt in Korean.
Not like adults, kids became close to people
집에서
quickly.
살지, 할머니랑 같이. 일요일엔 그냥 일하는 게 낫겠어.
할머니는
David started to face his grandma.
그래? 그럼
하지마.
Sunja, who is not familiar with
boy.
English, spoke English words in Korean expressions. However, it seems it made her child to hate her grandmother even more.
good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy.
The conflict between David and Sunja went up to the peak point. Maybe the conflict was only within David's mind.
이제 할머니 댁 가서 잘못했다고 해.
데이빗!
아, 괜찮아, 괜찮아. 아유,
해초리 갖고 와.
Jacob tried to scold David by hitting
그러니까
him with a
그렇지.
whip.
오줌 좀 먹고
But
그래서
Sunja
뭐
dissuaded
어때?
him,
재밌었어.
telling him not to scold him and forgave
아이고.
David.
나가서 새로 갖고 와.
내가 잘할게. 응? 내가 잘할게. 네가 이겼다. 네가 이겼어.
The crops are growing up and Monica is working in the factory. Time flies.
Why is this
Jacob noticed the plants are all dried up.
예, 준비는 다 됐고요. 이번 주말까지 보내드리겠습니다. 작업 벌써 들어갔는데. Hey, come on. What? Take it back. Korean people, big city, you never trust them. Well, take it. Oh, it's okay.
And the situation is getting worse.
병원에 다치면 버려야 돼.
One day, when Jacob's family are preparing to go to church, David got hurt by an
빨리 가서
accident.
수건 갖고 와. 데이빗 놔두고 너 먼저 가. 일어나봐. 옳지. 자, 스트롱 보이. 왜?
Unlike the situation of the family, David and Sunja's relationship somehow restored.
이렇게 걸면 더 빨리 갈 수 있어요.
그래? 조심.
They went together to the place where Minari
미나리가
is.
얼마나 좋은 건데.
Minari only can be grown in a special condition. Maybe it represents Koreans moved to America at the time. That they lived together in a certain place cannot be mixed with
보이는
natives.
게 안 보이는 것보다 더
Sunja, by
나은
seeing a snake, explained the visible danger is better than the danger which is not seen visible.
우리 안 나왔다고?
I want to come too.
안 돼.
미나리 밭에서 데이빗이랑 같이 길어온 거야.
나한테 그런 거
When
싫어.
Monica heard
그런
Sunja
건 안
went together with
돼요.
David to the fireplace, she was shocked and told her David was heart problem. The visible danger of lack of water and because that vegetable are all dried up.
무섭니?
나 죽기 싫어요.
One night, they became closest friends. She consoled David with a warm hug.
Minari, wonderful.
The relationship between the two was only restored, but the next morning, Sunja was unable to maintain her body properly due to a stroke.
할머니 병원으로 데려가셨어. When will they come home? 미나리 밭에 가서 더 기르와도 돼. How's Grandma? Mom said we can stay with friends. Really?
Poor farming and mother-in-law got ill. Jacob became very stressful, wanted to be a successful father to his wife and children. He felt a great sense of responsibility.
뇌졸중이라는 건데 푹 쉬셔야 된대.
엄마, 할머니 괜찮을 거예요.
데이비, 할머니 도와드려.
One dinner time, Monica invited Paul and have dinner together. Paul performed an exorcism there.
She says something here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Cast you out.
By the difficult circumstances, she lied on face. Now Jacob was against her
이상한
behaviors.
사람이라더니 이런 일을 부탁해?
하긴 무슨 얘기를 해.
Sunja did this and that housework because she didn't want to be a burden on her family, while she was having a hard time controlling herself due to a stroke.
한국 사람들이 많이 이사를 오거든요.
예, 그러니까요.
다음 주부터 하시죠.
네, 감사합니다. 봤지? 아무 문제
Jacob
없이 살수
wanted to
있어.
show that he can feed his family, told his wife not to
내가
worry.
그렇게 살 자신이 없어.
But Monica, who has been struggling to support her mother and failed farming, had a big fight with Jacob, saying she is too tired. Sunja burned the trash following her family's habit of burning the trash in the drum as usual. But she couldn't properly take care of herself due to a stroke, and the fire spread out in the meantime.
무슨 냄새지?
The children took care of their grandma, and Jacob went crazy to the crops as all the crops he has grown are blown away. He became greatly frustrated that he wanted to be proud to his children and wife. Sunja blamed herself and tried to be disappeared. Maybe she tried to kill herself, but David stopped her and persuaded to come back to home together.
할머니 가지 마세요. 우리랑 같이 집으로 가요.
At the night, they all sleep on the floor together as the first day. The visible danger is rather not frightening. A new sunrise, and they called in a worker who initially refused to find the water vein and looked for if they choose to follow Native Americans' wisdom rather than Korean style. Now they went to the place where Minari is. Seeing the Minari is growing up without help. As you well know, Jacob is a biblical character who left his own house and roamed around. Sometimes he slept on the wilderness. Seeing the Jacob's family laying together and sleep together, it made us think about the life, how the immigrants becoming Americans.